Welcome to Salesforce Marketing Cloud Email Studio. In Email Studio, you can customize email designs and set up templates for personalized sending and trigger them to define lists or data extensions as you have both the capabilities here. If you want, you can automate the customer journey using the emails which are set in Email Studio. And you can also automate to an extent the email sends within Email Studio. So let's get started. I touched upon the overview tab which we see over here in my introduction video. So we'll go to the next tab in the title bar, which is content. This is how the content builder page looks like. Here you have your folder management, the local folders and shared folders setup can be done over here. And then this is the main section where you see the list of your content. And this bar over here, you can sort this content type by name, type, customer key, ID, modified or added, or you can change the view of your content over here, and then you can set up the columns which you see over here by selecting or deselecting these fields. Then there are further customization possible, because once you have a lot of content in this section, you can filter the content by content type or tag or by owners. Then the main key feature of this page over here is that you can create. So basically, now let's talk a bit about the logic. So the first task is to create the content blocks. Once you've created the content blocks, basically it could be a button or a code snippet, or it could be dynamic content. I'll talk about enhanced dynamic content later on, external content or free form, HTML or image blocks or image carousels. I'll try and show as much as possible some of these blocks. So basically, when you've created the blocks, you use these blocks to create an email template, right? So email template, when I say you create it, it means by using the from existing template. So for example, if I want to show you, you can click on from existing templates, and there are some basic templates. Then there are templates which are just grids. We have the theme templates. So these theme templates have some color and better design in the templates. And you could also save your own templates. So when you select any one of these, this is where after selecting, you can use the content blocks. Coming back to the create button, we saw the existing templates, but there is also an option to paste HTML. So basically in your business, you already have some email templates and you don't want to create everything from scratch. So you can just copy and paste the templates from your existing ones. And then now the next step is, once you have created the email templates, you use them to create the email messages. And this is where you create an email using the email template. So there are 3 steps. You define the properties, add the content, and then preview and test. After this, the next step is basically you need to approve. You need to set up an approval process so that you are always assured that an approved email is going out. And after you set up the approval process, the email has to get approved, and you should have a list or a data extension with the subscribers to whom you want to send the email. I've now come back to the content builder to show you a quick process how you create content and then create a template, and then you set up an email. Let's create a folder structure for our content. Let's imagine we are going to have a welcome journey. So what all do we need for the welcome journey? We need images, we will need some content blocks, and we will need to create email templates. And then finally, emails. You can set up your own content structure, and you could create the different journeys or make a parallel structure which could replicate the CMS base which you might already have, or if you're using a PIM or DAM, you could take references from there to create the folder structure here, and accordingly you could create some shared folders to specify which content you're going to share with other business units. How about uploading some images and creating some content blocks? Click on create, go to upload and click on content. Then from the folder where you have saved the images, just select the image, click open, and you will see the image pending upload and publish, and over here you click the upload and publish button. While this one is done, the other way is to just drag and drop. So for example, I put the image over here and then it's again pending upload and publish. All I need to do is click here and both the images have been successfully uploaded. And let me confirm that by refreshing the page. So here are the two images which we just uploaded. And this is how you upload images. Just to save time, I'll just upload the other one. So I uploaded the remaining images and just moved them to the images folder over here. So now when I clicked on the images folder, we see the images which we just uploaded. Now let's create some content blocks. To start with, let's create a free-form block. Basically, it's a block containing text. I've copied some lorem ipsum and I'm pasting it over here. And then we are going to save this block and call it welcome text. And click on save and exit. And we'll move this to the content block folder. Similarly, let's create some image blocks and image carousel. Let's create an image block first. So we already have an image. So let's take the banner image and create this block. Let's call it welcome banner. And I'll save it. I'll save and exit. Make sure it goes to the content block folder. Let's now create an image carousel block. So we go to the image carousel. We add one image. Here you could add alternate text and you could also add links to the image. Then we add, in our case, another image. So let's say image 2. And then an image 3. On saving the image carousel, we have the welcome carousel. So that's what I named the image carousel content block. And I moved it to the content blocks folder. What is interesting is there are quite a few other content blocks which you could explore. For example, A/B test blocks. So basically, you could create two different blocks and then create a A/B test block, which once inserted in an email template, you could do A/B testing. You could create a button, for example, we could just call it the submit button, and that's your button, and you could customize it in the out of the box as a solution given here, or use the HTML editor. I'm just saving this one. We could use it in the template demo. And then there is dynamic content again. So in your list or data extension, you have different attributes saved for customers, and you could trigger different content based on the values which you see there. And then you have the enhanced dynamic content. In enhanced dynamic content, you create the content types, you set up the content over here, but there is a step before that. That is, I will need to exit from here to show you that. So in the upload, you had seen when I was talking about the content upload, there is this enhanced dynamic content upload too. So here you need to upload a delimited file And in that file, you have the information for the customer attributes for which a specific kind of content needs to be shown, and that is saved over here. So basically, this enhanced dynamic content is used for it's like a midway solution between running customized codes to display personalized content or just using the dynamic content. So once you've uploaded the file over here, you need to set up the enhanced dynamic content blocks for the images which need to be shown. And then what your email does is, depending on the attribute values of your subscriber, it looks up the enhanced dynamic content table, and from there it displays the right dynamic content block which was set up accordingly. Hope this makes sense. And then you could set up external content, and then the HTML paste content, which is a block where you just simply paste the code. I realized I missed out on some others content blocks too, and if we scroll down, we see below image carousel we have layout, social follow, social share, and the text. The text content block is basically for only text inputs, whereas the free-form content block, you could enter images, you could enter text, as well as save links in the free-form content block to use in your emails. The social media blocks are also fairly easy to use. For example, let's click on social follow. Here you could add the channels from the ones available, and this is the icon styling for the channels and the layout alignment options which you have. And let's just save this one. So social. You could just give it a generic name because you might use it in different email templates. With all the images and content blocks ready, I think we are ready to create an email template. Let's do that using an existing one. For this demo, I'll be using a basic template, and I'll look at one of the simplest ones. For example, maybe just a hero one column. That looks like an easy one. Once you're in the template view, what you see over here are all the list of blocks, the buttons which are available, and obviously they would be you'll be able to select only if you've clicked created the content blocks. So you have the basic content, the advanced content, interactive content, so we created the image carousel, and the social media content, we created the social follow button. And here on this side are these blocks which you see, which you could move and which you could edit, and we will use them right now. And then you could also see the code view. So if you have a developer who's working on the templates, or someone who knows HTML, CSS, could modify this easily. And then you could also see the mobile view. So what we need to understand over here is that while we have the email template guidelines over here, there are two ways to insert content into this template. For example, the first way is that we select an image, go to the image folder, and we have the logo image, and voila, we have the image inserted into the block. Or we could select a block. For example, I clicked on the header, and then we have over here some content which we had already created. For example, the welcome carousel. So I just dragged and dropped it over here, and we have the welcome carousel over here. I was also talking about the block settings. So this is the block setting, and for example, if I want to give this block a border, I could do that. If I want to adjust the padding, that option is also there. I could adjust the padding. If I want to look at any of the axes, the horizontal or the vertical one, then I could just unlock and then adjust accordingly. So these options are there, and this is how you adjust your images or blocks in the email templates. If we scroll down now, we could adjust the text in a text block which is already existing in the template, and say, for example, Salesforce Marketing Cloud. And these are our regular buttons to customize the text or change the font or font colors and etc. Or add hyperlinks. For the button, again, it's the same thing. You could change the button here. Or use one of your content blocks for button which you had created. It's here. There you go. And maybe delete this one. And this is how you delete the blocks. Similarly, we could use the welcome social, which we had already created. We need to select the block first and then go to content and drag and drop welcome social, and we could just remove the custom one. Let's save this template now. Finally, here we have our first email template, which now we can use to create an email. So here we get the option when we say we want to create an email. We are given the option, are you going to use template, or you want to just paste HTML or just text, or an existing email which is already there. So in our case, we click on template, and we had saved our template by the name welcome one. We select this one. Now, because we are creating an email using one of the templates, so as we all know that we could use this template to create new emails, and we could always edit the text or the banner depending on the campaign. We give this a name, final one. If you want, you could add description, define the location. So we'll just change the location to emails. The other one is obviously we're going to save it in email template, and here we could also add campaigns if we have already created the campaigns. Then click next. What you would notice over here is that in this section you could further add content, and that's why the second step is called add content, and the process is the same. The difference over here, what you may notice, is that we have the subject and the pre-header. So that was not there in the email template design. So here we add welcome to Salesforce, and you could add a pre-header. So basically this is what you see, the few line of text right below the subject line in the inbox. And then you could also check what should the plain text look like, and here I could edit this and save it accordingly, so that I'm sure that okay, there is no code or nothing like this is going in the email, and it's a clear text which is going. And this is the code view again, and you could check the mobile or the desktop view, how they look like. And if we are satisfied, we can go to the next step, which is preview and test. In this step, I wouldn't be able to show and tell, as I haven't set up any list or data extension to show you what the preview would look like, but I can talk through it. Basically over here, what you need to do is, once you have set up a list or a data extension, you select that list or data extension, and upon selection, you would be able to see how exactly your end user is going to see what are the personalization strings, if you have entered any, for example, hello Mr. John, or whatever the first name or last name, or any of the other personalizations you have set up in the email, you would be able to preview that. Then in this step, you are able to set up the test, so you could send it by send it to yourself, which is the individual recipient, or if you have set up a test list, you could use that, the data extension over here, by selecting and sending. You could have a look as a team and then validate or mark corrections in the email template. To explain this feature, I need to go back to the content. I've already created a data extension with two records, one with the first name, one without the first name, but a predefined value of customer in case the first name is missing. And in this content block, I will just add some personalization. So for example, dear first, this is what I call the label in the data extension for the first name. Dear first, I introduce the size to maybe 20, yeah, okay. Let's keep it like this. And go to the preview section. To show you the preview and test tab, I have created a data extension with two records, one with a first name, last name, one with no first name and last name. And now if you want to preview, I've also inserted a personalization string first. That's what I'm calling the label for the first name in the data extension. And I just need to now select the data extension. Here I see the data extension I created, so I select it, and these are the two records as I mentioned, so I can just select one of them. So here you see how the personalization string worked for the preview of the subscriber attribute. And if I go to the next record, because there is no first name, last name, and I had pre-filled value customer in case the value for first name is missing. In the email we see dear customer. In this step, you could send test emails to yourself and respective email addresses, or you could set up a data extension with email addresses of your entire team, the marketing team or the stakeholders who need to verify or validate the email to be sent. And below here we see the classification which you need to set. So what does that mean is, firstly you need to select if it is a default commercial email or a transactional email. If it's a commercial email, then as per the CAN-SPAM law, you need to clearly specify who is sending this email, and that is what this section, the delivery profile, is all about. So it is pre-defined in the admin section, and that from once it's defined there, you select which delivery profile you need to select. So for example, we select the SFMC delivery profile, and over here you define the sender profile, that is what should be the name which should show in the inbox and what should be the from email which should show in the email inbox of the recipient.